So welcome to podcast 199. Thank you, Carrie, for that wonderful intro. You know, we have our mystery guest in the background, and we just tried to explain, or he tried to tell us that this is almost professional. And we assured him it wasn't. And then showed him.
Proven. Damn it.
Maybe 200 you'll get it.
Yeah, hey.
I thought
you know
last
what?
week was so good. It was like smooth. It had flow.
Guys, I'm gonna redo the whole intro. Absolutely everything. Like that old one is garbage after 199 for sure.
I just thought we had like a DJ going. I thought you were mixing it.
That's what it felt like.
MCKK over there.
Oh man, you think after 200 or 199 plus many other ones that would be a lot easier transition, but fails every time.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah, fair.
You know who won some? The Oilers.
Yeah. I was driving out of Edmonton last night after a ball game, and all I hear is horns everywhere. People honking their horns.
Yeah. The rules of the road no longer matter. If somebody cuts you off, you're honking anyways. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I mean, look.
I still don't think they're going to win.
I think it's still a big ask for us to come back and win this series. But
are you guys taking the Tim Wiseman underdog play right now? Is that what's going on?
Well, we are the underdogs regardless.
Oh, here we go.
No, but it's true.
Yeah.
Mathematically, we are. There's been one team in the history to ever come back from a 3-0 to win.
Mm-hmm.
There's only been 3 teams or four teams ever to get to a game 6 after going down 3-0 to start.
I feel like this is where you should show all the confidence in your team and don't play the devil's advocate. You just be like, man, we got this. This is what Oilers are for.
What does give me comfort and confidence is the fact that McDavid kept scoring goals yesterday, and he would just laugh. Like, you don't see him get pumped up. He would just sit there like big smile on his face and just kind of laughing. And I'm like, ooh, that's kind of scary, you know? Like that he thinks it's funny just putting pucks in the back of the net.
Do you think he unlocked NHL 2001 or whatever it was, where you just top shelf everything, or he found the hack?
Yesterday was disgusting.
Yeah, he had his joysticks working the best right now. That's for sure. He just snapping things everywhere. Bobrovsky kind of, you know what? He kind of had a weak goal there in the 4th goal when they just threw it at his feet and went in. So, but I mean, as soon as I came home, I turned on the game. They scored, so I was like,
I did the same thing.
But, yeah, I know. You know what? Edmonton's going to be pumping if they win on Saturday or on Friday. Then I just don't know. Like I'm still thinking four games is real tough to come and win it all in a row. So that's why I'm not.
Tim, you only can win one at a time. It's like throwing a 4-bagger. You only can throw one at a time. Doesn't matter what you did before that.
This team won 17 games in a row. There is no problem.
You lose the first game. There is a lot of pressure after you start losing a few, right? And you never know.
Nope, that's the wrong attitude.
But so we lose 3 games, and then it's 3-0. We don't have any pressure anymore.
Yeah,
we aren't supposed to win, right?
Already the laughing stock.
100%. Like, we aren't supposed to win, and then so that pressure's gone, and you can kind of see it with the Oilers. They're playing hard, but you can see that they're playing with their backs against the wall, and they don't. It's do or die. Florida's really different, and like they seemed really confident after that 8-1 loss, but the interviews yesterday are very different, and like their manager's reaction up in the booth was very different. And I don't know. I think at this point there's got to be some nerves from Florida because Edmonton's playing good, and you don't want to be on the wrong side of history. And so it's no different than bowling, right? There's a big difference to like playing to win and playing not to lose. And like the more that this goes on and the more you don't want to be on that side of history, you're playing not to lose, and that's not a good place to be in.
Yeah, you're always on your back foot, right?
Mm-hmm. So I'm saying there's a chance. I said if we won in Florida, if we win that game in Florida and it comes back to Edmonton, it's going to be an interesting series all of a sudden.
Maybe we can transition. We played a little ball last night. I don't know if any of our viewers care, but our team is 5-1. Like we're not bad. We're leading our league of rec players and extremely rec players, but we're up there. I do want to point out. Usually, we kind of have a hat and we have a toque that we wear. We don't really want to like maybe discuss exactly what it is. One's for a strikeout, one's for an error. I think everybody wore one for an error last night, but we still won. But absolutely, probably you can talk about this. Probably the worst throw we've ever seen by Islam. Like he literally, he literally threw it on almost. He's throwing from third to first, and he threw it almost to. Actually, did throw it right in the ground to our second baseman.
It was like 4 feet in front of him, straight left, and then into the outfield.
Terrible.
You gotta describe the whole play to the people. It was a left-handed batter. Chris was playing third base. He literally bunted it because he tried to hit it the other way. Chris charged it, barehanded it, and then absolutely spiked it into the ground because there was no chance to throw that guy out at one.
Yeah. Gronk's heart grew 2 sizes that day.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then I run into the outfield and try to throw it to third. And Kara's yelling, "Leave it!"
Yeah,
And Chris in a
Cuts it.
fit of rage, decided, no, that's not good enough, and just grabs it.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
Yeah.
One of many, many errors.
We should live stream our rec league ball games.
Oh,
Dude, that'd
just
be
mic it
really-
up. Mic it up. Ooh. We would need disclaimers though.
Oh yeah. No children under 18 can watch that.
Yeah, I actually do like that.
Our
That might be
pitcher,
the
Peter
worst
Pants last
idea
night.
that has
What are you
ever-
talking about, Tim? That
ever.
was a joke.
Oh,
There's no chance we're live streaming that garbage ball.
No, next game, next game's gonna be an easy game for us, so we should put it on. We should just put it up on our put up on 5P Universe, just maybe put our
Nope.
up against on the chain link fence and just let it go.
No, you know the last time I gave live streaming abilities to anybody, it was Dexter that did it when he was drunk at the Stettler Bowling tournament.
Hey, we
Playing
had a bunch of viewers
Yeah, because they were watching the debacle that was happening.
at 1:00 in the morning. I think we had like 25 viewers. It was a good time.
Oh man.
And the other time was when I decided to give Ryan O'Callahan a perfect game watch, frame 2
Yeah.
in Winnipeg. But it was worth it.
Well, should we bring in our mystery guest?
Anything
Guys-
but the three of you continuing to talk, please.
Sorry, Ty.
Hey, you could have piped in at any point.
Actually,
Nope.
we have quite a few people watching. Has anybody guessed who it is yet?
OC did.
Yeah.
Not
OC
in
did?
the chat, but OC did.
Oh, that doesn't count then.
He messaged me right away. Longtime viewer, probably our biggest fan of the show. He told us before we came in he has watched every single episode twice. Twice.
Yeah, big fan. Well, let's bring him straight in. We should have had him on podcast number 12 over 4 years ago, 5 years ago, back in 2019. Let's have him in. Mr. Shane Chafe, welcome to the show, sir.
I'm glad I waited 4.5 years to hear about Tim Wiseman's slow pitch softball games. That's
Yeah, that's what this has turned into after 199 episodes.
But since you haven't actually watched the ball, what instead of Tim's baseball, we do talk about this quite a bit. We play it at least once a week because it's always entertaining.
Thanks, Tim.
No problem, Shane. Anytime.
Those work
Just
away.
from a skinny Wiseman telling you, having a good time with you. So.
Yeah, no, Skinny Wiseman does help me out every now and then, scoring systems and
Oh, he knows the scoring system because he doesn't know it at our end. That's interesting.
Skinny Wiseman helps.
Hmm?
He does help.
we should have a broom. That might happen on 200.
Yeah, 200's coming up. We got all the things coming up.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, Shane, I know it's been a long time, and I know the podcast we did have you on that we talked for like 2 hours was a preemptive to the NBT kind of starting up. It was 2019. Obviously, NBT's been going for over 4 years. You guys have done an amazing thing out there. Can you just give us a little overview what you and Manor have put together out there and how it's running, how many events a year you have and all that good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of turned it kind of similar to the other tours where, it started out as a bowling tournament and kind of grew it into a brand, it's kind of more than just the event itself, and when you look at like development and trying to get some youth involvement also while providing that elite experience type of thing, so yeah, we grew it. I mean, it took off really well here in the province. We had a lot of support. Every time we put off an event, we changed the formats. We got a little more flexibility, it seems like, than some of the Western events where they're ran by the center type of thing. Really, myself and Manor kind of run these events, so it gives us a bit of flexibility to also include POA and youth and different events. So no, I mean, they've been really great. I mean, typically we run 2 main events a year, I'll say. We do a fundraiser tournament in memory of Bobby O every year. We also have kids events. We do the youth classic once a year. And then we try to get a couple of like pop-ups in, kind of like one day, to put it in perspective, I guess, for people who are used to like club tours and Western tours, it'll be like a 5-game roll off, top 16, single game bracket, kind of that one evening, one day in and out type thing. We call those pop-up events. So, you're looking at 5, 6 events throughout the year, throughout the summer. Now, last year we kicked off our first bowling school, development for both youth and adults. Of course, Desiree was a big part of that. That was really Melissa's brain, Melissa's child. She ran with that. I don't have a whole lot to do with it, to be honest. I mean, it's her baby. She took it and ran with it. So I help out and support when I can. And the second one is planned for this summer. So, and I believe it's just about full. If not full, it's pretty damn close right now. So, Manor's going to kill me for not knowing that, but I believe it's full, and so we're looking forward to that. And bringing in some experts and bringing Des down and that type of thing just helps strengthen that. Put off a quality product and I think we've seen some benefits from MBT over the years, just in our province performance at a national level, the competition at a provincial level. Even the youth development, I'll call it, as the youth graduate and go into the adult ranks, we see immediate impact now. So, I mean, to me, it's been a great success.
Yeah, that's what we were kind of discussing that even before you joined in the back room there. The NBT and Newfoundland's youth program has been second to none. You guys are popping out youth players like crazy that are extremely good already and joining the adult ranks and winning opens and stuff like that. So that's an amazing feat, especially from where you guys started. Like, I think your first MBT event was like a $60 event. Like it wasn't very expensive, was it? And just to snowball from there to having large number of events, that's crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was a one day thing, just something we did on Sunday to put something in the schedule, and not thinking that or I guess no expectation of how it would do. One of these things where we kind of did it. It filled in. This is before MBT. It kind of filled in like half an hour, just lit up, and we knew at the event then that we're onto something here now. There's an appetite here. That was the biggest thing. I mean, we always had plans. We just weren't sure if there would be a demand for that in the province, and we were proven wrong on that first event. So that was the start.
Mm-hmm. It's just nerve-wracking because you don't ever want to see something fail, and then when you have to have the right people in charge, and both of you are the right people in charge. And when you have something, you guys sell it. I mean, you guys had a background in associations and everything else. it probably just an easy follow for everybody because they trusted what you guys did, right? So that's kudos to you guys for doing that. I mean, nothing to be worried about. I knew it was going to go over well, but to say where you guys are now, it's incredible.
I think reputation helped a lot. Like myself and Melissa ran a lot of things locally, from leagues to summer events and summer tournaments. I think people saw that if we were to, when we run something, it's usually ran pretty well. It's well structured. There is not going to be a free for all there. There's a bit of structure. There's a bit of bit of success to it. So I think that helped in the initial kickoff. Like, people trusted not only us, but they also trusted that the event would be ran properly, and it would be a good event to run. So I think that certainly helped. We've been doing it a long time, long before MBT. So that was kind of the accumulation of everything to the MBT.
What's something that's like, obviously you guys just announced the Body Quest challenge that was on your Facebook. Is there anything major on the books for like 2024, 2025 season for NBT?
Yeah, I mean, we really plan. We probably get into detailed planning now after bowling school. Depends how you look at it. Whether bowling school is the end of the year or the start of the year. For me, it's the end of our year, end of the MBT year. The MBT challenge in September. We kind of use that locally here as kind of the kickoff of the season. We do it the weekend after Labor Day, which is typically the week prior to like a lot of the pro leagues and a lot of the larger leagues start up. So it's kind of that kickoff to the bowling season here. It's usually our bigger event. We have most times have larger turnouts, mostly because it's that time of year, and people are probably a bit hungry to bowl after being away all summer. But that's certainly our kickoff of the season. So we kind of wait until all the AGMs happen with the other associations and see our bowling calendar fill up, between YBC, Open Masters, everything else. And then we'll just pick a couple of weekends. We usually like to do the big events in like September and April-ish. And then we'll fill in like kind of the youth and the pop-ups and the fundraisers, wherever we can. Because our bowling calendar is crazy. We don't. We just got something every weekend.
That's what I was going to say. Because how your Masters and how is your Opens run? You have a lot of weekends already in that, and then I know how many blanked out dates you give me for the 5PL, and then you have all this other stuff for the NBT. You guys have something every weekend now.
Most times I give you fake dates because I get a deep down joy and satisfaction of seeing you attempt to do some work. It really gives me a lot of satisfaction. I don't think we can do this date. Can you switch it to the 13th? Yeah, Tim, we can switch it to the 13th. No problem.
And then you throw in a snow date. Oh, sorry, guys. Center's not going to be open. Too much snow. Like,
you gotta have a couple of floaters.
You don't have your own plow?
What?
You don't have your own plow?
God, no. I want that for.
Have you seen his hands and his
He's
arm?
not committed.
He doesn't need a plow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, but our bowling calendar is stupid. All our zones for you can pretty much book out in the November to April, and there's something every week. Between master sets and in every individual zone, open sets, our youth program, YBC zones, provincials, etc. Have a free weekend is very rare. Most times we're picking dates that have the least amount of disruption elsewhere.
Yeah.
Try to squeeze in.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that, like, obviously the bowling calendar is kind of one of the bigger challenges, but is there any like other advice that you'd give to someone wanting to start like a bowling tournament or a tournament series in their province? I know like Ontario's kind of getting theirs going with Club Tour, but in Saskatchewan and BC, we don't see too many. Is there something you'd say to someone in that province that's looking to start their own?
I would say focus on the audience you have, not the audience you don't have. A lot of times I see, events getting put off, or the thought that if we do this, we can attract this, or we might be able to get this group or that group, or so-and-so may play. And sometimes we alienate, the core group. So when we plan MBT events, we don't plan MBT events hoping to, get X number of, out of province bowlers, or we don't focus MBT to maybe we can pick up this group of bowlers locally who don't play. We focus it on the ones who sign up every tournament and really, we want to think that's our audience, that's our customers. So we want to satisfy them first. And if, we get those other groups, that's great. But to me, I think that's one of the mistakes I see, that you try to get what you don't have or what you can't get versus, being happy with what you have and grow what you have.
Yeah, that was the main thing with the WCBT and the Manitoba Open joining, was like, make sure you look at your local players. You need the local support to run the tournament. And if you get the out of province players, that's the gravy, that's the bonus, that's the commitment to the sport. If those players are willing to travel to your event because you've created such a good local event, right? We've seen, and Shane, you mentioned, we've seen tournaments start and fail because they're looking outside of their core, and that's the tough part.
And I think people don't appreciate, or not appreciate, but they probably don't realize the amount of years that some of these tournaments have been on the go. I mean, someone might look at something like a Regina Classic and go, yeah, that's been really successful the last 7 years. But what about the first 30? It probably didn't have 350 people. You're just seeing, what have you done for me lately type of thing. So I don't think people appreciate, a lot of these tournaments do have some grassroots to them. They did grow locally. They were local successes before they were national successes. So I don't think people see that a lot. They just look at, the most recent success and go, oh, wow, look at this. This is easy. Well, it gets easy when you grow it. It wasn't easy at first,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you guys, I think you touched on it, but like, you guys definitely filled a market that you guys had, and a product that you guys needed. Obviously, with you guys being out there on the island, that isolates you from a lot of stuff, and we still get a bunch of you guys come out and play, but that travel's so difficult, right? And there may have been that need to have that kind of tournament for a long time, and people wanted to go and play, and you guys just gave them what they wanted. You had the people, you've always had the talent, you've always had the great number of players, but now they actually have an outlet for it. One that isn't going to cost them $3,000 in a weekend, right?
A financially stable outlet for it.
Exactly. And I mean, I think that's kind of something that, Alberta, it travels really easy. Saskatchewan travel is really easy. Manitoba travel is really easy. Ontario's got tons of people, so like that doesn't matter much. But like, I think BC, I think that's a great point. Like, that's really where BC should kind of focus too, because BC can be kind of isolated. It's easy travel from Vancouver, but anywhere else, it's not great to travel from. So I think that's a really good point, that those are the people to focus on, because you could get a ton of people that have always wanted to come to these events, and it just doesn't make sense financially for them to do it. Give them something that they can actually access easily.
Yeah, I don't think we ever planned MBT or ever thought of forming a tournament to I guess with attracting out of town or out of province bowlers in mind.
For sure.
I just don't think it's feasible. We do get some, like, JB comes to all our events, or at least most of our events. Al Paquette came down to the last one. A lot of times we get people who are here on vacation anyway, or they're going to plan their trip here, or plan to see a family or friends around an MBT event and play. So I mean, we appreciate that, but again, that's not our focus.
Yeah.
There used to be a big, well, I don't know exactly the size, but there used to be a relatively large sort of cash tournament between Newfoundland and PEI and Nova Scotia as well.
In the Atlantics.
Yeah, we had the Atlantics for many years. That was a huge tournament. I mean, it was held in PEI. I'm going to say for the majority of the years, and then the last maybe 10 years, it was hosted in Newfoundland. I know Mount Pearl hosted one at Pearlgate way back when, and then kind of Holiday Lanes took it over. But I only went to, I believe, 2 in PEI, maybe 3. It was a bit before my time, but I mean, apparently, the stories are just legendary. It was a full week, right? It was a week of 12, 13-hour games. I think some guys told me like they bought like 60 games a week. Open format, 5-on-5, scratch, and you'd get teams from like Labrador come in. You'd get who don't even bowl 5-pin, come in once a year for this. Mostly formed through PEI, Nova Scotia, and us. It was a huge tournament. It was booked up well in advance. It was certainly our thing. Last going off, it kind of got a little smaller. Like we lost a lot of the PEI teams, we lost a lot of the Nova Scotia teams, and I think it had a lot of it was an age thing. It was an older generation that bowled it. And the younger generation just couldn't afford to go. To be honest, I mean, it just got one of those things where you got to pick one tournament and something else won.
Yeah. And then you start seeing Nova Scotia and New Brunswick start losing centers. They don't have places to play, so why would they go play a cash tournament or a scratch tournament when they can't even practice, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there used to be certainly 10 teams in each province when I first started bowling, and then slowly dwindled down. But we miss it. We always talk about the stories here, especially the older people like myself who can remember them, and like I say, legendary stories, great drinking stories, just classics. So certainly always in our memory. We've always talked about maybe revising some sort of Atlantics tournament. I know St. Pat's here done a similar event, smaller scale this year. Kind of had that kind of feel to it. But again, certainly not at that level that it was. But it'd be nice to do that again for anyone who's online who can remember it. I don't know if any.
It was always the Shepherd brothers always always talking about it.
That was their jam.
I'm sure they were causing all the problem. Let's be real.
The Shepherds would have a team into it. The Gavels would have a team into it. Surge would always have a team into it.
Do you find that some of the people that used to play that have come out to some of the MBT events?
No, it's just a different generation.
Yeah,
that's that generation is. There's not a lot left who are still bowling. To be honest, it's just like I said, it was. I might have got to 3 of the ones that I played were certainly at the tail end of that tournament, and that was back when I was 18 or 19. So I mean, you're looking at 25 years ago. So this just a lost generation especially in this region anyway. Very few left. There are some obviously Atlantic bowlers still kicking, people like my age who are still playing, but the core group of those old tournaments are long gone.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Maybe talking about generational stuff. We touched on the youth a lot, but what has the youth success meant for the adult success? Do you feel like it's kind of rejuvenated adult bowling, or is it kind of gone the other way where the adults have inspired the youth?
Well, it kind of depends how you look at it. I personally, I love it because I want these youths to carry me to success long past my prime. So, I'm happy that, hop on someone else's coattail and go on for the ride. So,
Did you hear that, Carrie?
Yeah, you're supposed to be carrying me, but I got to make teams.
This is the problem that I'm having now, Carrie. No, I mean, I think it's great because I know our youth ladies have been strong for so long, and it seemed like every few years there was someone else coming up who just immediately made an impact. From the Courtney Lucases now into Katie, and now you got kind of Amy Harris coming up. Vanessa Elliott is ready to go in a couple of years. So it seems like every couple of years there's an elite lady coming through the ranks that's ready to go. We had a kind of a long stretch in the men. I know Brandon Smith, Brandon Tibbs, these guys, it took them a few years. They weren't immediate out of YBC. It took them a couple of years of seasoning before they kind of got to that level. So to me, I'm excited to see it on the male side, so that it'll strengthen our division a little bit. We got a bunch of young bowlers. You just look at our master team a couple of years ago. Noel Kelly, Mitchell Pope on the team, in the early 20s, ready to go. So it just brings that depth to our province. It makes the Masters team stronger. It makes our Open team stronger. You're not worried about who's going to sneak on the team this year because they're not going to hurt you anymore. So I love it. I hope all the success for the kids. I hope they come up and they all make teams right away. I think it's a great thing. I mean, look at the Open team. A couple of weeks ago from Plaza, had a couple of young kids who have come up through the system. I think both might be. I think Connor might have bowled it a couple of years now, but Nathan was certainly a rookie. But again, early 20s, making impacts immediately. I watched Connor Belbin anchor an Open team at his age, think that's pretty impressive. So it's good to
That-
see.
I can tell you, like we hosted obviously the YC Nationals. That Cody Jacobs,
Throws it real well.
holy hell, he is going to be unreal two-handed.
Yeah, and like there's a
Oh, good.
pile. I can say, more so now than I can remember, at least in the last 10 years. Like there's a bunch of like I say, junior bowlers. Kind of that first couple of years junior where you look at and you go, there's a whole lot of potential there. And we had a young kid at an MBT event last year, Evan Squires. He was still in YBC. He ran the event, and it was, people say, you get lucky in a bracket. Well, this was pod format, and he just destroyed us all. And the who's who in this province made that pod final, and we never had a prayer. Just got destroyed. It was over before it started, type of thing. So I mean, there's a bunch in like I say in that kind of first couple of year junior where a little bit of seasoning, some experience, some good coaching, some good guidance, and they're on their way.
That's got to be exciting. So not so much about Newfoundland anymore. What about you, Shane? Obviously, you got a singles title under your belt. Obviously, with all the success in the NBT and coming out to club tour events and some WCBT events you've been out to. You were kind of saying how you need the youth to carry you through your career, but you've built a career here lately, even obviously one of the best players in Canada. So like, what's next for you? What are you looking forward to? What's your next step?
I haven't really thought about it. I mean, I've always wanted the chance to go back at Masters singles again. It's my favorite tournament. I haven't been a singles rep in this province since the year that I won it. Runner-up a few times. This year I had a pretty successful tournament, but just couldn't come close. Brandon Tibbs kind of just went off and averaged 300 for 32 games or some BS like that. Just left me in the dust. But I bowl well enough that probably 80% of the years that would have been enough for singles. So it's always been a goal of mine just to have one more chance. And I never did get a chance to defend. Just really like that format. I think it just favors me a little bit. The heads-up matches I enjoy more so than the open format. But for me, my goal every year going into the event is to get one of the singles crowns and see what I can do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find the way the Open is set up in Newfoundland, it's tough to make as a single? Like compared to other provinces, we qualify in the zone, we do this. You guys have a little bit of a different way of doing it, right? So I think that your singles might be a little bit tougher.
I've always said it, and I mean it with all due respect, that it's harder to get out of our province to be a singles rep than it is win the singles nationally. I look at that and go, you're in a 10-person tournament or a 9-person tournament. You take your chances there. Locally, for those who don't know, we have an open singles format where you don't need to finish in the top 3 of your zone. Most years it was like men's and mixed bowlers are allowed to bowl singles, or at the very minimum it would be a men's team. I think last year it was restricted to the men's team from a schedule perspective, but we've rolled singles roll-offs here or single provincials here where there's 40 competitors. And you know what that's like. One of your top bowlers finish 4th or 5th. They don't get their chance this year. Well, they do in Newfoundland. They still get their chance to go back and win singles, even though you finish 4th, 5th, 6th in your zone, 9th in your zone. So you can't get rid of anybody. You got to beat them twice. So it just makes it very difficult to get out of the province. And if you look at, I think, God, I'm probably going back 10 years at least, but I think we probably got 8 or 9 different winners over the last 10 years. I think Mike Maloney won twice. I think I won twice. Other than that, it's been different people winning every year. Majority of those step ladder. So like it's just tough to get out of the province.
Yeah, for sure.
How long did it take you, and what was the recovery like after your injuries? Because you've had a few of them. How was it coming back after that? Did you find like it was like did your game get better? Was it a long process? How was it like? I mean, look at Jeff Young having to go through his stuff now. What was the mental process through all of that as well? Because there's a lot of work and effort that went into that, and I'm sure a lot of mental strife with it too.
And is it as good as Billy Wood's comeback? That's what we really want to know.
I don't think there's a better story in bowling.
No, no.
I think that's a whole other beast. Billy is a legend. For me, I kind of had two big injuries over my career. One was in 2013. I was in a motorcycle wreck. I was on my bike and I got hit head on by a Toyota Tundra. And surprisingly, a 60 kilometer an hour head-on crash, the truck usually wins. So I was lucky to survive that one and lucky to walk away from it. It messed my back up a little bit. Still have trouble to this day, but that one not so bad. It was kind of the summer, so time bowling started up. Most of the there was just kind of soft tissue injuries left. There was more on management. The one that kind of really screwed me up was 2019. I was playing ball, kind of similar to Tim Wiseman playing ball stories, but I tore my quad. That ended my softball career as I know it. That one was tough. I mean, I lost a year there. I was braced up for, I think it was 3 months after, in a straight leg brace. Had to learn how to kind of walk again. A whole lot of physiotherapy in the background. So I missed the entire bowling year that year. Then the following year was COVID. So we kind of missed that year, but the COVID kind of helped me a little bit in the respect of I didn't miss any bowling seasons.
There was no FOMO. It was
there was no missing out. So everyone missed out. So I was able, and being stuck in the house all the time, I was probably able to rehab a little better than I would have if I had to go to the office and work and then do kind of your regular routine. So that really helped. But I did find it difficult. Like obviously sliding was my left leg. I'm not a small person, so leaning all your weight on that quad was difficult. The first time I threw a ball, I couldn't slide fully. I would slide, throw a ball, and then catch myself on my right foot as a break. Kind of like going completely over the foul line. So I kind of did that for a few months and then slowly got some strength back. But yeah, I mean, I think injuries are part of it, and just learning to adapt to them. I never once thought that I wouldn't be able to get back to the level I was at, but certainly had to put some work in. I don't think anyone sees that work. They just kind of see the online success, not knowing how much effort went in. I spent more evenings trying to climb stairs one at a time to build some strength in that leg to be able to bowl. So it gave me some satisfaction, kind of succeeding the following year, more so than anybody else. But that was tough.
Yeah. So going back to the Toyota Tundra, did you write it off?
It's funny, it all happens in slow motion. But when I got hit, I flew off my bike, but I was lucky to fly kind of in backwards. And I think when it hit me, I think it hit me 25 feet, 26 feet, something like that when they measured it out. And while I was in the air, I imagine it was like a slow-mo Matrix type movie, and I was, like I can remember the truck driving over the bike and crushing it while I was in midair. It seemed like forever, but I'm sure it was a split second. But it was a rough day. That's
crazy. 25 feet backwards?
Yeah.
How fast did you say it was going?
60. So I was lucky.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because like you said, you're not a small human being. That's a lot of inertia to go backwards in the air 25 feet. That's wild.
I still remember it. It was early June, late June. It was this time of year actually, and it was like really hot that day. It was a Friday, and we had like a function at work where like everyone went on this like barbecue or some type of function they had, and I ditched early. It was such a nice day. I said it's time for the first ride of the year, and I didn't make it very far. So I still remember that, but I was lucky when I landed. I didn't splat. That was the
yeah.
I kind of hit my shoulder and tumbled versus hitting flat on your back or flat on your front. So really lucky. Never had no helmet on, but I never had no. I was in my t-shirt. So
Oh my god.
Without these podcasts, you don't hear any of these stories. Like, I had no idea you took on a Toyota Tundra and survived. Like, that's cool.
didn't even get a scratch. You know, pissed me off. Not a scratch.
Not that. Holy cow.
They build them tough. Build them tough.
So I wasn't allowed to get another bike after that. I was outlawed from.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Was that? But that wasn't your choice.
Actually, my wife was pregnant at the time with Grace, and she was like 8 months pregnant. So Grace was born July 26th. So it was like literally, 3-4 weeks away, and here I was banged up in hospital. So it didn't go over too well. So that was the end of that story.
Yeah, the two wheels go away.
To this day, I see one. I go, ooh, maybe it's time, and then I get brought back to reality pretty quick.
Shane, would you be okay with a Spider? I'm pretty sure you can rock those things.
I feel like you look like a Spider rider, Tim Wiseman.
No, it's so true.
I'd be in the seat beside you. You take the main, I'll take the bucket seat.
He never learned how to even ride a bicycle. He was always on a trike too, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I can see it. You didn't have to say anything. All you had to do was say Spider, and I knew.
He's been eyeballing him for a while, actually.
What kind of bike was it?
It was a Harley, fittingly a fat boy.
I can see you riding it now. Jesus. Oh man.
Evan Scooter. Let's go. Like I said, it's more of a Timmy thing, but I'll give it a try. I'm not really built for a scooter anymore, Need those big bikes.
Would you be open to a Lime scooter race at Masters Nationals?
I am open to whatever.
I got one of those things up to 70 one time.
A what?
A Lime scooter, yeah.
Oh God, no.
The Tundra would win that one.
That sounds like a young man's game, man. I'm going to bow out gracefully. That's a. It sounds like a miserable day 3 at the lanes for me going through that. That's provincial night I don't need.
Yeah. Oh man, that's good. Well, we've kind of touched on that. What about the 5PL? Obviously, you are a large part of the Rock and Rollers. You kind of team manage that team. You guys have obviously had some success on that team. You've made playoffs and stuff like that. What are your feelings about the whole virtual pro league and that coming around, and how you've been competing? It's been really good. You're averaging like 267. Not horrible.
Yeah, no, I thought. I do think that the 5-pin pro league in general is one of the most impressive things that I see in the bowling community. Just the ability to go down to our local alley on a Sunday and bowl against Saskatchewan or bowl against a BC team is pretty cool. I think most of the kinks are out of it now. When it comes to formatting and setup, so like it's for me as a manager / player, like it's not a whole lot of work. I get there a few minutes early and kind of set up, but really cool. Like I said, it's our second year into it. Made the playoffs both years, so I mean certainly success. We have a strong team, and we feel like we're certainly in that conversation of the best teams there. So yeah, we're looking forward to next year. Hoping to get back at it. Like as you grow, obviously I've sent you some notes on some of the things that we'd like to see. I think I'm going to bring it up here live. Karen, putting you on the spot. I think division mix-ups. We want to see it. We want to bowl different teams. Figure it out. It's not difficult. If you can, I'll get him to show you. But mix those divisions.
We're gonna leave it up to fate, Shane. How's that?
Oh, that's great.
Leave it up to fate.
If I got to bowl Henry one more time, it's just come on.
Yeah, no.
Try dealing with him on a weekly basis, twice a week.
Right. So. But I just think that was our feedback from that, and I know other than that, I don't really have much comments from a negative perspective. I think it's great. I think that
when are you kicking Brad Glynn off the team?
Not soon enough. Yeah, no, he has to go. I mean, I think we were undefeated without him this year. So but you know, Brad's a
Yeah,
disgrace to the game most times. So
Yeah. Really drags everybody
yeah,
down.
he drags the team down a lot. But you know, he owns most of the bowling alleys here locally now, so we got to keep him on just in case.
Yeah, that's just his way to
Yeah.
stay relevant, right?
Yeah, it was his next move.
It's a smart move.
We all got moves and plans. How we plan of the year. That was his next move. It was
Yeah,
almost
that's
like,
why we bought a bowling alley.
it's not
100%
checkmate.
same thing.
It was certainly check. It wasn't checkmate, but he
Yeah.
played his, he done it well.
There's only a couple more centers he can buy to shut you out. So
Yeah, so I mean, we got to keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
the monopoly is getting rough.
It's funny how you're not playing at one of his centers, though. You played a center completely not his.
Yeah, no, not giving him that much satisfaction. Yeah, no, I mean, we bowl out of Plaza, and you know, Plaza is one of our sponsors. Jamie's been great for us, so you know, let's just come in, and Plaza's so difficult locally here to get some time. You know, obviously it's our largest house, 36 lanes, I guess, and by far our busiest. So just being able to, you know, and it's like anything else. You walk in there, time we bowl, it's not usually morning, it's afternoon. You know, so the 10 a.m. game for you guys is, you know, 1:30 here. That's birthday party city and Global City at Plaza. So being able to shut down kind of half their facility, because obviously we don't want to bowl in Global. So I'm sure he does some sacrificing for us. So we do appreciate that. So I'll give a shout out to Jamie and Plaza for allowing us to do that. But that's a part of it, I guess. You know, trying to coordinate with the time zones.
Mm-hmm. So actually, that's a good topic. I mean, think how far you guys have come now, because it wasn't so long ago where Plaza wasn't a place where you were able to play these events, right, and participate on that. So, like, kudos to Jamie and everybody else for opening their arms and being able to let you guys do this again. I mean, it's been a huge thing for you guys out in St. John's there. Yeah,
Plaza wasn't a part of like the 5 Pin Association for many years, and you know the reasoning is, you know, in my mind is long forgotten about. It's kind of before my time. But when I took over the 5 Pin in 2013, I guess it was 2013. Plaza were not involved then, but we slowly got them back. But you know, it didn't meet their business plan at the end of the day. You know, they make their money on you know, non-competitive bowling, and kudos to them that there's obviously a market there, and you can't fault them for that. Certainly when Bobby bought the lanes, it was kind of the transition back. So the previous owner Plaza was purchased by Bob Osborne, and of course then it turned kind of competitive. A lot of their core volunteers were always there. You know, Art Wells has been a major part of Plaza Bowl for a long time behind the scenes. So it was kind of a quick transition there, and you know, led by him, supported by Bob, and we got him back in. And it's funny, you know, Plaza had, you know, probably one of the largest youth programs. So it was kind of a sin to see, you know, the youth bowlers bowl throughout Plaza their whole lives, and then when it turned competitive, they had to go somewhere else to bowl their opens and things like that. So it was great to have him back. And you know, we're at a point now with our growth that, you know, we really need him. We probably can't host a lot of our tournaments in the smaller centers anymore. So,
yeah,
yeah, that's awesome. Just a lot of great positive things from ownership out there. I mean, obviously, you were just talking about Brad and Ryan, and like with the passing of Bobby O, and like some uncertainty is like, you know, what's going to happen with those centers. It's awesome to see Brad and Ryan step up and buy those centers. The first one, we heard the rumbling. The second one came out of nowhere. But it's so great that those centers are staying in the bowling family. What a great impact on your community.
Yeah, I think we were all pretty pleased locally to see it. You know, before Bobby passed, obviously when he was here, he owned all three centers, or these parts of all three centers with Jamie. And you know, when Jamie kind of went to Plaza, it left the other two in limbo. We know that they were, you know, rumors of being for sale or were officially for sale, and who's going to buy them and what's going to happen is kind of all that unknown. And we talked about, you know, what happened in other provinces earlier, and you know, lanes shutting down. I don't know if that was ever, ever a thing, but it's really just the uncertainty. How do you plan your season? Where you're going to bowl to? What's going to happen to not only the bowlers but the lanes themselves? So it was great to see Brad Ryan take them and keep them part of our bowling community. It's we need to keep them. We need to keep them going, keep them strong. It's way better for bowling in Newfoundland with those centers open.
Yeah, for sure. So any plans this coming season? Are you going to make any club tours, WCBT events, any of that stuff?
Yeah, no, I went to a club tour event last year. I tried to get to Timmins. I was all ready to go, but we had 86 centimeters of snow that day, so it didn't work out. Really for us, like especially with us here in the Western Tour, like the early events are by far the most successful for us to get out early. The October, November months before we get our snow, because it's just too unpredictable. We don't get as much snow as I think people think we get, but it's just between that and the travel, it just makes it very difficult. So early in the year is better. I am going to Nebs in August again. We got all that booked up. There's a few of us going to that. And again, we talked about the logistics side. It's just so much easier. It's a 3-hour flight. It's a lot cheaper. We get more people going, so you can share some costs. It's certainly a lot better. But I'm still trying to convince. I have a family trip planned in November, so I'm trying to piggyback that on certain dates, see if it works out. I probably got a better chance of getting another bike than double dipping here.
Washington Mall always sounds great. Yeah. Hey, while we're talking about club tour, how great was it to see Brad Glenn's perfect game?
I didn't see it. I was at a casino.
What was the text you sent Brad right after?
I don't remember. I'm sure it was a very congratulations and positive text. But I was, I actually qualified my first shift. I didn't need a 3-shift that one, so it was the. No, I dropped Brad off at the lanes. It was day 2. We really struggled day 1, and I said, well, I got a day to myself. I am going to the casino and doing what I do best. And sitting at a blackjack table, and my phone started going crazy in my pocket to a point where I was like, what the fuck's going on here? Something in my mind, there was something's going wrong at home, or someone's trying to get a hold of me. I got to step away from this table. Stepped away, and all I saw was Brad 450 baby, and then all these messages. Oh my God, Brad got a 450. I could just throw up at that point. It was just, I lost my spot in the shoe. I lost, it was just everything. So.
Yeah, we were sitting there.
Next topic, please.
Oh, yeah. We happened to be sitting in the lounge at Nebs when this was going down, because we also didn't have to bowl another shift like Brad did. But
I highly recommend
it. He made sure to tell us that you sent him the most congratulatory message ever.
I'm sure.
I don't think. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Nathan Cooper making comments about bowling ball. I think the story goes that he struggled that bad the day before that he went to Nathan, and Nathan gave him a set of balls to use, and that was the first. I think that was the first game he threw with him.
Yeah, back to back. I think he had a chance at a 450 the game before, screwed that up, and then crazy. But this isn't about him. We already had him on. Shane, what's more about you?
Well, thank you.
What do you got going on? What other questions do you guys have for Shane? I know, I
kind of a couple of things I have. Mitch brings up about legends, just brought the name legends. Name me some of your legends out there in Newfoundland that you idolized when you grew up.
That's a interesting question. So the two that I guess I think everyone kind of defaults to someone like Bob Osborne. Just to me, I remember Bob as just being clutch. He was always anchor for that team, and my God, he won more games in that last ball than you could ever remember. And of course, being so small in stature, throwing those shots, just getting dwarfed by his teammates, are just memories that I'll always have. I think there's two names that kind of come to mind, for me as a child when I can watch. One is Terry Blake. Terry had just this intensity of him on the lane, 3-time national champ. When he was on the lane, he was going for a throat. Like, he was going to win. He had no other, and he let you know it. So just to see that type of competitiveness and just fearless, didn't care who he bowled. He thought he was better than you, and he was going to win. And that's something that I always took. And I think another person who I probably never told him this, but as a child, my father obviously bowled with this man a lot, is Robert Williams, and Robert was just at the C5 Open this year. But when Robert was a young man, Robert was a stud on the lane, and again, singles champ. But I can just remember Robert anchoring where I used to bowl out of, which was Pearlgate lanes. And, back in those days, Pearlgate probably never had the strongest team on paper, but everybody feared bowling Pearlgate because of Robert. I just watched him anchor teams to victories and taking teams places that they never should have went, and watching other great bowlers fear him when he would get going. Just a machine to watch back then, and I always remember that as a child, watching the Open, seeing other teams in fear of what Robert Williams was going to do to them. So that was kind of the three names that kind of come to my mind, being put on the spot type of thing, but certainly those three.
Okay, and so let's go this opposite direction. Is there anybody right now, like in your Newfoundland bowling community, who's maybe your top one or two people other than Brad that you would like to play with most times?
Other than Brad.
Really?
Yeah. For us, like out there, we know you guys have your groups of people, not cliques, because you guys all usually get along really well out there. But who's your guys? Like, we just see you guys, right? But we don't necessarily know who's who, right?
The two guys that I like to bowl the best with right now is Brandon Smith and Brandon Tibbs. So two young guys. Yeah. Kind of came up, and and I say to them, "Well, look, my sons, looking them off. Dad's proud." They came up, out of YBC and kind of bowl with me in Paradise when they first started. They've developed into two of the best in the province. Just beasts. Both of them are singles reps this year. So really enjoy bowling with those guys. We're friends off the lanes, certainly friends on the lanes. Wish them all the success. So and again, as the older person on the team, usually it's nice having young guys carrying you. It's great.
Yeah.
And those guys have really, really been, obviously they've been good for a while, but these last couple of years, they seem to really have taken off. Like Brandon Smith, man, was putting on a clinic there for a while, man. That guy, 400s, like my phone was blowing up through Facebook. There, I think it was the last NBT event. Like
I don't remember the exact scores, but I know it was 2 out of 3. It was 2 out of 3 4s, and I think it was an 11-20 triple and a 16-55.
Yeah. He started C5 National with 1,000, right? Yeah. I remember that. Like, I look over and I'm just like, oh, that's good scores, and you didn't even know that he had 1,000 because it was like this ho hum, right? I obviously I love watching Brandon play. I think he's a really good player. There's something about watching him that I always find that he's super solid, right? Obviously that he has other things that he deals with, and for him to play as well and be on top of the game like he is right now, it's incredible, right? So I'm a big Brandon Smith fan for sure.
I think it's fascinating to watch him bowl and watch how he bowls. I don't know if there's anyone in the country, at least there's very few, who throws as many strikes as he does. And like I say, to do it with his condition is just amazing. I've said to people before, if he was a 220 bowler, they'd be writing stories on him. But he don't want it. He's as good as there is, and he's certainly someone to you can't take lightly anymore. He's just a machine. And
he's proving it.
With both of the Brandons is that think they found it the last couple of years. Like, and there's a few more in our province, I think, that are close to that. Like, they're getting there, but those two guys took the step a couple of years ago. They found something, and it took them from potentially to there. And really for us now, there's 2 spots gone every tournament you're bowling. Those guys are going to be there. So
yeah, fair. Yeah, and now Jeff Young's gonna have to learn how to bowl right-handed. So like, you're gonna have him in the mix now. Now he's
gonna
throwing
be
from
better.
the good side.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm still waiting for, like, he was supposed to take me on left-handed. He said he wanted to do his silly podcast too, just like your silly podcast. I was going to do all the podcasts this year. I said, do it now, then I'm done. I'll get them all out of the way. But he was supposed to take me on, like, my left versus his right, and I'm still waiting for the call. So like, if he wants to practice, like, it's go time.
Yeah, fair enough.
If Giggy can do it, Jeff can do it. Right? Yeah. I mean, Giggy's just amazing.
Giggy's in better shape than Jeff Young is, though. Like,
and a better hair for sure. I mean, like,
better hair. Yeah, fair.
Yeah,
we're gonna get him a bowling stick.
Oh,
yeah.
See,
yeah. He'll still probably push that at 50.
It's probably messaging me now, but like, we're supposed to do these podcasts. Where are they? No messages yet. Jeff's there. I don't want to hear no injuries as excuses, Jeff. Come on, let's see it.
Here we go. Right before Masters Nationals, Shane bowls left-handed, blows hammy.
Yeah, we're gonna do this in August. We're gonna do this
right after Neb's club tour.
after Neb's before our season. So when I do pull a
you should have maybe an opposite hand tournament when everything's going on for singles, just like last time in Winnipeg when we were there for Masters. Everybody was there. Throw a couple games, a couple bucks down there. I think last time we were there, Kerry, wasn't it? We had singles are going above and people were playing a pot game down below, and then Herbert threw his shoes to the garbage can.
Did you play, Tim?
No, I didn't play with Herbert. Then he threw his shoes in the garbage can.
But did you play at all?
Oh no, I didn't. I showed up and averaged 229. Yeah.
Oh no, sorry. I meant in the side pots, but I mean that makes sense. I was like, I just wanted to make sure you weren't throwing your money into anything.
Yeah, no. Somebody asked me, "So you want to play?" I was like, "No, I threw a lot of terrible balls. I'm not playing. No, we're good."
Yeah. We played a little doubles tournament downstairs at Academy when everybody was bowling for the real thing upstairs. It was fun. It was a good time.
You should do it as a side event, one of these tour events.
I agree. We just got to find the time and the lanes to do it. Shane, obviously we're at that hour, so we'll probably wrap this up. We know you have Masters Nationals coming up. Ty and Dexter are there as well for Team Alberta. We wish you the best. If you have to beat up on anybody, beat up on one of these two.
I'm like half his size. That's not fair.
Tim,
I got you.
You're not playing, Tim, this year?
Tim?
You're not playing this year, Masters?
No, it's called choking. I shot. I was up pretty good after the first, second, third, fourth tournament, and then I choked the fifth and sixth. Yeah.
I see. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So it's hey, you know what? Team's probably better off.
They're definitely better off.
In all fairness, nothing ever good happens in Winnipeg. So I mean, at least I'm not going to Winnipeg. That was a pretty good caveat there. So, but I'm interested. I want to know what are you guys dressing up as for the theme?
I have no idea, man.
I haven't even thought about it.
I have mine ready.
Oh, Jesus. Ty, you doing shit is just going to make the rest of us look bad.
So you got to fill me in, like, what's the theme?
Let's make a deal.
Until like the day before, you know me. Yeah.
All right, so I guess I got to run to Valley Village. All right.
Well, you can come up with anything. Like, Actually, Dexter, you should get some side hair here and maybe go as Brad, and maybe Shane can go as Dexter or something. I don't know. Maybe they can do something like that.
No, Nelson Frank's already going as Dexter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, that's fair. That's
We-
fair.
We were walking out. I was
Just a
going to
whole
bed.
team of Dexters.
I left Open Nationals banquet, and then I was walking by Nelson. I was like, "Oh, hi, Dex."
Oh man. Yeah. Any last words you want to give us, Shane, before we let you go and have a sleep, since you're 3.5 hours into the night here?
Yeah, it's 11:30. It's getting to my bedtime. No, I don't appreciate coming on. Or you asked me coming on. I know you asked me a bunch of times, and I always decline. So, but
Yeah.
you know, Skinny Wiseman asked me, so I felt obligated to do it this time. So
Everyone has their yearly charity work.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You got to pump it in, but 200 episodes next year, or next week. So congrats on that. I was hoping to be able to go on the girls' podcast instead of yours, but
We scooped you up.
the timing didn't work. Timing didn't work out, but no, I was corrected. I had my math wrong earlier. It was 187 episodes since my last one, so maybe we won't wait as long next time.
Yeah. We did appreciate the running joke that you weren't coming on, and we've never had you on, but we are more than happy to have you on. We've obviously wanted you on for a long time, so thank you very much for indulging us and taking the time with us.
Yeah. And there was an update. There's one adult spot left in the NBT bowling school.
See, I knew she was going to do that. Okay?
Perfect.
I'm going to get the score tomorrow because I didn't know the number.
Take
So
a
if someone's online, fill that spot for me so I don't look like an idiot tomorrow. One spot for now. One
Yeah,
spot.
that's not going to stop you from looking like an idiot.
No, I do it well. I carry it really well now.
And so next week is ladies podcast. This will get deleted accidentally. Ooh, it's on YouTube forever now, so we can't do that. Next week is ladies podcast, and then the week after that will be Masters Nationals. We will not be podcasting that week, and then it'll be podcast number 200. So send in your suggestions.
Yeah.
Let us know what you want.
us
We're gonna
ideas.
ask all the podcasters back on. So Mr. Weber, DB, the girls, Katie and Tracy, we're all gonna try and add our 2 cents and be in and out, and maybe it'll be a little 2-hour extravaganza. But can't thank you guys enough for supporting us for 200 episodes. You all are fools. You all are fools.
Crazy.
All right. Well, have a great week, guys, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody.
guys.
Thanks, Shane.